I realized what Oklahoma, my home state, had to offer. We had a black bear season and antelope season, we had whitetail and mule deer, and we had an open elk season. All these tags are available over the counter to residents and non-residents alike.
And in talking to some of my colleagues, have never talked to anyone, met anyone, or documented anyone accomplishing that, much less with archery equipment.
How cool would it be to do this in 1 year if you could? One of the hardest parts of getting all this done is obtaining the land, period. We are going to skin it, eat it, cherish it forever. He comes in my face at 15 yards. I mean, that's what we all dream of. Dude, I got the 3 hard ones done. Holy cow. Stud of an Oklahoma mule deer. Unbelievable experience. That's an unbelievable buck. I just finished off the year of my life here in Oklahoma. My name is Brandon Adams, and I am from Central Oklahoma. I normally tell people that I was born and raised in Oklahoma, but I was actually born on a military base in California. My dad was in the Army, my sister and I both were born out there, then we bounced around a little bit and ended up back here in Central Oklahoma where both of my parents are from.
Brandon was a very determined child. He was a go-getter.
As a child, Brandon was very fun. We did a lot of things together because we're 11 months apart.
I was fortunate to grow up on a farm, and like most kids on a farm, I did farm work from the time I was very, very young.
My dad farmed, and I wanted him to have the experience of farming, so Dad let him at a very young age, and I worried then too because he would drive the tractor, sometimes a pickup, from field to field.
I remember 8, 9 years old, being on a tractor, had my mom up on the hill watching me, make sure I didn't run off into a ditch or a fence or something, something of that nature.
When he got home, he worked in the hayfield. Many nights he'd come home early in the morning, then get about an hour or two of sleep and head back to school. He was real big into sports. He loved baseball, he loved football.
When I was on the field, when I was in practice, I wanted to be the best.
He was real competitive. In the afternoons, he'd get home, either from school or from the hayfield. He'd get his glove and he'd be just throwing it up to himself on the football. He'd be going through the cones. I mean, just you name it. If it could help him on the playing field, then he would do it.
Brandon was very obsessive with the activities he did. Once he made up his mind, he was very committed.
And I wasn't, in my mind, the most gifted athletically, but I always tried to outwork everyone that was on the field. Throughout all that time, I grew up hunting and fishing.
Brandon got started out in the outdoors about 4 or 5 years old. He really got into it running in the dove field.
Every time someone shot a dove, I'd run out there and I'd get it, and we'd fill up bags, and it was always a big hunt. I was fortunate to grow up with a big hunting community in the family and friends. We always had a big camp. There wasn't a whole lot of bow hunting going on in my family. It was all muzzleloader and rifle hunts.
I was been a deer hunter most of my life, but as far as the bow hunting, I never really picked it up. He kind of just took it on himself.
Whenever I do something, I try to immerse myself in whatever it is I'm doing. So when I got introduced to deer hunting, I was 10 years old, and I just had this drive to learn as much as I could about deer.
I remember having decoys everywhere outside, and he would shoot from the balcony. He was shooting his bows, and everything he did, he always tried to be the best.
And so what I would do is I'd actually go down to the local library and I would rent every book they had on deer. Every time I went to the grocery store with Mom, I would go over to the magazine czar and I would read through, North American Whitetail and Peterson's Bowhunting and Bowhunter and just all the magazines I could. That passion led me into trying to choose a career in that field.
One of the most impressive things is just his knack for taking things and running with them. When he sets his mind to something, he's laser focused with it, and he usually accomplishes his goal. I've gotten used to anything he tells me he's going to do, he does, and I would say that's one of his biggest qualities is getting things done, and when he puts his mind to something, watch out, because he's going to accomplish it.
I'm married to my wife, Brianne. We've been married for almost 10 years, and we got 2 little girls, Addison and Brooke.
I met Brandon at a friend's house in the summer of 2006. I thought that he was very handsome. He seemed like a very fun person to be around. We got married in 2009. We have 2 beautiful girls together, Addison and Brooke.
So proud of them. They each do unbelievable things. Addison is a gymnast and travels, from state to state and winning gold medals. She's on the podium, seems like every time, and most of the time she's on top of the podium.
Addison is a very smart, loving, shy child. She loves baking. She's an amazing little cook.
I'm Addison Adams. I am Brandon Adams' first child.
My little girl, Brooke, she is just, she's a handful.
Brooke is into basketball. She's very into animals, and she hopes to be a vet one day, which is really cool that she already knows what she wants to be at the age of 8.
And she's an entertainer. She actually won a talent show with a comedy routine.
I am Brooke Adams, and I'm my daddy's favorite child.
They're always keeping me on my toes. And my wife I'm so thankful to have her around because she keeps me grounded.
Him being gone is hard sometimes, but it's always been our way of life. It helps that we're so busy. I am a teacher, and the girls go to school with me. So we have school. Addison has gymnastics. Brooke has basketball games. So we're always running to and fro all the time.
If it wasn't for her, frankly, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd probably be like in the circus or something, but I find myself wanting to be home because my girls are at home, So I went on my first bear hunt in 2014 in southeastern Oklahoma. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful, but in 2014 is when the seed was planted of how cool would it be not only to get all of these animals, but try to get them all in 1 year.
He has so many thoughts and so many things that he wants to accomplish in his life, which is really cool. One of the things that he said that he wanted to do was slammed, which is killing the 5 big game animals in Oklahoma.
And I was really excited for him. Back in your mind, you're kind of thinking, yeah, that's going to be impossible.
Most people try to do these things in their lifetime, and he decided he wanted to do it in a single season.
When Brandon was telling us that he was going to do the Oklahoma Grand Slam, and when he told me Oklahoma had bears, which I didn't know we had any bears.
I knew that we had whitetail deer, mule deer, and antelope. I did not know that we had elk in Oklahoma, nor did I know that we had bear.
And then he said there was a bear. And I was like, do we have a bear in Oklahoma?
So when he told me about this Oklahoma Slam and the idea for it, and we were excited for him, and I really didn't have much doubt that he would get it done.
Oh, I absolutely thought he could do it. If he was committed to something, he always follows through.
Every time he sets his mind to something, he's determined to get it done. I knew he would accomplish what he wanted to do.
I knew if anyone would be able to accomplish this task, it would be Brandon, because once he sets his mind on something, no matter how much work it takes or how long it will take him, he will end up doing it.
One of the hardest parts of getting all this done is obtaining the land, period. Because, for 3 of the animals, really 4 of the animals, they're location specific. Southeastern Oklahoma has the bears. Elk are sporadic, but the biggest pocket that I'm aware of is in southwestern Oklahoma. Mule deer's in the western half, the northwestern half of the state, and then the antelope is only open in the tip of the panhandle. So you have to have access to these lands in these specific spots. So fortunately, Major League Bowhunter has a lease in northwestern Oklahoma. It's actually in the panhandle of Oklahoma that has mule deer and whitetail on it. So 2014, the seed was planted, but flash forward to 2017. I'm at one of my really good friends' wedding. His now father-in-law comes up to me. He knows that I like to hunt, and he says, if you ever want to hunt elk in Oklahoma, let me know. And I looked at him straight in the eye and said, I'm letting you know right now, let's do this. So now knowing that I have an elk property, and that's when I realized that I can get this done. I can find the other 2 places. So the first thing I did is I went to my Instagram account, and in January of 2018, I let Instagram know what I was going to be attempting. So I just posted it. It says, okay, I'm asking for help, which my wife thinks I'm incapable of doing. During the fall of 2018, I'm going to attempt something that I've been meaning to do for a long time. I couldn't tell you how much I'd appreciate a little help. Please DM with any details you may have. It has not been very long, and I've gotten a ton of responses in my comments and in my private message. Within 1 hour, I had a contact for the Antelope property with Mr. Zac Albin in the very tip of the Panhandle in Boise City. He had access to thousands of acres and was more than gracious enough to invite me up. I was more than happy to accept his offer.
I was scrolling through Instagram and I followed Brandon. He had a post that he was looking for a place to antelope hunt, and I just happened to have pretty good antelope hunting ground, so I reached out to him saying he's more than welcome to come hunt on my land.
All right, so I just got a contact off of Instagram from a guy named Dalton Hill. I just got off the phone with him. He said that he has a lead to a bear property. I'm about to jump on the phone with that lead. Dalton Hill gave me your number and told me that you might be just the man I'm looking for when it comes to finding a bear hunt in Oklahoma. Man, I'm telling you what, Oklahoma's a special place. It's what I'm hoping to get across in this whole, Grand Slam adventure. Right. I would have not have guessed that there had been elk down there. I've lived here my entire life. I wouldn't have known. So I just got off the phone with Jason. Now I just got to nail down my elk spot, and we'll have a location for all 5 of them. So, well, my elk property, it fell through. Now I have to start from square one because this is the one that I thought that I had in the bag. This is the one that sparked the whole slam idea. But I can't start over now because I've already let everyone know what I'm doing. Now I'm looking at mapping apps on my phone and dialing phone numbers off of the plat maps, and I dialed dozens of numbers. I dialed number after number and got no after no. Everybody's uncle, everybody's cousin, everybody hunted elk on these properties that were fortunate enough to have these wild elk living on their lands. I thought of a buddy in southwestern Oklahoma who actually runs an outfitter called Western Oklahoma Trophy Outfitter. His name's Brett Carden. And I said, hey man, here's what I'm doing. Do you have any elk down there? And if you do, can I come hunt them? And if not, do you know anyone that has elk? Well, he said he did not have elk on his property, but he thought he might have the guy for me. And he said, I'll call you back. Within a couple minutes, he got back with me and said, here, call this guy. And I ended up calling Trevor Johnson.
I got a Facebook message from one of my buddies, and so he said that he was gonna forward my number to Brandon if that was all right with me. Of course, I thought that was awesome, so I told him to go ahead. And about 17 seconds later, I got a phone call.
He had a half a section of land that was loaded with elk. The neighboring property was even more loaded with elk.
So on the other side of the mountain is a guy I know pretty well and a really well respected man in the community. I've always wanted to hunt his places, but everybody asks him and it doesn't really go well for anybody. It's just kind of his own thing. So I thought maybe that he might be more willing to let Brandon onto his property, and I put Brandon in touch with the landowner. And
fortunately, he loved what I was doing, so he got me access to that property as well as a property that he hunted. Well, we are just now arriving here in southwestern Oklahoma. I'm going to meet Mr. Trevor. We're going to drive around, look at the property.
And a lot of times they may be up top, but you can call them right down that draw into this bowl, right to your left.
One of my favorite pieces I've ever set foot on in southeastern Oklahoma. Some of the prettiest country I've seen in the entire nation. Pine, hardwoods, mountains, big black bear, big bucks. And today is all about getting ready for October. It's gonna be really cool to have a bear high level on the ground. See if my little heart will be up to it. I think that's it right there. I'm gonna hang right there in this one. Bear necessities, listen to bear necessities. Would you like a Gatorade, sir? It's been 20 days since we put this out. It's all gone. There's nothing left. They messed with the blind, which is unfortunate, but that means there's a lot of bear in this area. First week of September, and they've been dragging off and tearing up the Ameriset that we put here last month. And so Jason was kind enough to let me build the blind, and we just hauled it up here. Hauled it up the mountain, and here we got it set up. We are down in southwestern Oklahoma. It is T-minus 4 days until the Grand Slam starts. You killed that right here on this land. This is all beautiful, absolutely gorgeous country. Tons of places for the elk to hide, tons of places for us to call from and get set up in. We're gonna check some trail cameras, and then here in a little bit, we're actually gonna jump inside an airplane and get an aerial tour of the land itself and where the elk like to hang out, and kind of get a visual of where we'll be hunting here in about a week and a half. So I am running bait one last time before the day before we run bait. As you can tell, it's raining. I'm by myself today. Got all the corn shoved into my truck. Hope they're not switched to acorns with all this rain that came in. They very well could be. I'm also going to put a little Wild Game Innovations Acorn Rage. That looks good. Yum. Some canola oil that we're putting into a mix of corn and dog food. I love this. These are grilled cheeses. Why wouldn't a bear want a grilled cheese? I like grilled cheeses. Here's my look that I'll be looking at on opening day. A few more days prep. As you can see, I cut a trail, and with everything being wet, it should be nice and quiet coming in. There's bear tracks in my trail. This will allow us to be super quiet, and I really think, if we're careful, we can get in the blind with the bear on the pile, on the bait station itself. So one of the biggest logistical problems of this whole thing is lining up the actual dates for the hunt, because they all start on October the 1st, essentially. The bear starts October 1st and runs for 3 weeks with the bow season. Elk starts on October the 6th and runs for 5 days. And antelope starts on October the 1st and runs to the 14th. And so you have to be in southeastern Oklahoma to hunt these bears as soon as possible, because the later you get into October, the more acorns are on the ground, and the more acorns are on the ground, they're not coming to your bait station. So you have to be there as quickly as possible and hope that the acorns have not fallen. So I was gonna go there first, hopefully get one. I was going to go from there to southwestern Oklahoma for the elk, hopefully get one there, and immediately, as soon as I kill the elk, drive to the very tip of the panhandle and go hunt the pronghorn until the 14th. After the 14th, take a little bit of rest and focus on the mule deer and whitetail for the remaining, 3 months of the season. Now the stars have to align to get all that done, but that's the plan.
My name is Clay Newcomb, and I'm the editor and publisher of Bear Hunting Magazine. So black bears are native only to North America, and black bears range from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean to the Arctic, all the way down into old Mexico.
So Oklahoma is a very diverse state, not only for the amount of wildlife, but the amount of terrain and vegetation.
In Oklahoma, the bears live in the rugged Ozark and Ouachita Mountains. This terrain would be characterized by mountains as high as 2,800 to almost 3,000 feet, super steep, super rugged.
Get into bears, they're in the very southeast part of the state. Mountainous terrain, thick cover, pine timber, rock outcroppings, naturally cavernous type areas where they can den.
Landscape level logging and habitat loss and market hunting of the 1800s basically extirpated black bears from Oklahoma. The bears came back because of the reintroduction of bears in Arkansas and them moving out and spreading back into their native habitat, and now they're thriving in Oklahoma.
We're estimating about 3,000 black bear in Oklahoma. We have a season in 4 counties, and we're getting ready to expand that.
We use bait to hunt bears in Oklahoma because of the rugged terrain and low visibility. This is really the only efficient way to manage these bears. And on a bait, you have time and you're able to analyze the different animals.
We currently have research going on in southeast Oklahoma and northeast Oklahoma, largely reproduction and population studies.
So the biggest challenge with hunting black bear in Oklahoma in the fall over bait is that naturally these bears are going to be going to the natural food source, and there's almost nothing you can do to really fully pull them away. Pretty much you can just keep their attention for a short period of time. Those bears would rather eat a white oak acorn as they would any unnatural food, human-based food that we could put out for them.
For years we didn't have enough bears to have a season. We do have some limited hunting. If you've hunted bears, you're one of a few. If you've actually taken a bear, you're maybe even in a smaller minority.
Oklahoma bears are big. I've had the opportunity to hunt black bear in some of the historically best known regions of North America, and the two biggest bears I've ever harvested have come from Oklahoma.
Well, we are pulling up the bear property here in Latimer County, Oklahoma, southeastern Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Grand Slam has begun. I'm pretty excited about it. Fried chicken, apple, like fritter stuff, I don't know what it's called. Opening day's tomorrow. Today's September 30th, so got some work to do today though. Got to run these bait stations for us three, and then we got to run into town and set up camp and make sure our bows are sighted in, everything's good to go there. We'll see how she shakes out. Well, we got about an hour or more before daylight. We're parked down below where we're going to end up in the blind. I am a nervous, absolute nervous wreck right now. I'm really positive there's going to be something on the station. The way I got it set up, to where we can come in the back of the blind, theoretically with something right in front of us. So we're just going to take our time, be real slow, watch every footstep, and hopefully not spook anything on the way in. So. He stands back up and we'll shoot. He's down right there. Keep filming him. I'm blown away. I'm honored to have an opportunity to do these things. The first leg of the Grand Slam is done. Oh, that arrow. That's what you want to see. Well, good thing about this track job is there's not a track job. He's laying right there. This has been a lot of work in the making, and this is an absolutely gorgeous animal. We are going to skin it, eat it, cherish it forever. I'm proud of this animal. I'm proud to be sitting behind it right now. I'm proud to have the opportunity. I'm proud of my state of Oklahoma to have the diversity that it does. And this right here, it's a prime example.
What are you going to do with it? You going to skin it and what then?
I'm gonna take some meat off of it for sure. Put it in the freezer. I'll skin it, and I guess I'll skin it at the RV place. So.
Did you give Brandon a high five? Go give him a high five.
Pow! Thank you.
By Brandon harvesting this bear on the first day of the Oklahoma bear season, I think it really helped him in this slam, because every day that ticks past the opening day, hunting bear over bait gets exponentially harder by the day.
You have to check every bear that you kill. You have to check it in. And so it was really cool. We took it to the check station and I took a bunch of measurements. I asked a bunch of questions. I'm kind of nerdy, so I like to ask questions. What do you do when you pull a tooth? What are you checking there?
It's, you can saw it in half, put it under a microscope, and count the growth rings and determine age.
What's that thing?
This is a pit tag scanner. So when we do our den surveys and get the cubs out, we'll inject a pit tag.
Nice.
And that way if we harvest them, we'll be able to know where they came from.
That's awesome.
No pit tag.
A little big tooth he pulled out of there.
By Brandon being able to hunt this bear and kill this bear in his home state is really a testament to modern conservation and hunters that in the 1950s were bringing these bears down from Canada and Minnesota in the backs of pickup trucks and turn them loose into wild places in the Ozarks and Ouachita Mountains. Hunting is conservation. Bears would not be here if it wasn't for hunters. And so Brandon got to partake of the fruit of one of the most successful reintroduction of large carnivores in the world.
You know, it was a cool experience. My dad that same night was in the same blind that I had killed in that morning. He killed a boar that night.
Just shot one. It was nice bear. Nice bear.
And our bear hunt was done on opening day. Now, I stayed there for a couple more days. My dad did as well. He stayed and pig hunted. I stayed and deer hunted. And from there, I went to southwestern Oklahoma to try to get an elk with Trevor Johnson and Josh Candelaria.
My name's Trevor Johnson. I was born in Lawton, Oklahoma. In 5th grade, I moved to Mountain View. This is where I am currently, out in the country with my wife and daughter. We raise sheep out there and run cattle and farm wheat.
My wife and I have been married for about coming up on 5 years in October. 2 years later, we had a daughter named Baylor, and she's been our world, and she's everything we imagined plus some. And start morning chores, and those usually last until about noon, till about lunchtime, and then we have a few hours to work on projects throughout the day, and then once it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, it's time to start all over with chores and do that until dark. Right now we have about 550 ewes. I always tell people that I'm not sure on the exact count because I always fall asleep before I finish counting them.
July 1st, 2011, tragedy struck our family. We lost my little 6-year-old brother in an accident, and it was something that changed our lives forever. We tried to move on that next year, and it was just really tough just to live a normal life. And coming up on that year anniversary, some of my family members and my mom thought it'd be cool to do something to try to celebrate him that week of the anniversary, kind of pay it forward. And be kind is kind of what our motto has been. So my mom created this random act of kindness thing. It's called Random Acts of Kindness for Tucker. And the first shirt we did was to build a nice big playground at my little brother's elementary school. All the money we make goes straight to the community and just any family in need in the community. And we've put scoreboards in gyms, and we've donated hundreds of books, and we do coat drives, and we do anything you can imagine. We help out, cancer patients in the area, or just anything you can think of. We're always trying to give back in honor of Tucker. My life evolves around family and the lambing, and of course the outdoors. I'm an avid outdoorsman, and I love to, deer hunt is my main passion. Of course elk hunting. I do anything I can do outdoors. I fish, shed hunt. So anytime I can get outdoors is, you know, what I love to do.
Get back on the road, heading home for a night, and then down to southwestern Oklahoma for elk. Dude, that is a really good bull. Some big ones floating around. Then back home for a birthday party. And back down to southwest Oklahoma, and then up to northwest Oklahoma. A lot of traveling, a lot of things to hunt here in Oklahoma. We just got up to the property. We got about a little over an hour before dark. Trying to spot an elk or two. We just heard an elk bugle in this general direction. I love hunting, period. But I love hunting basically in my backyard. Opening day, elk season, southwestern Oklahoma. Today's a special day, not only because it's open day of elk season in Oklahoma, but it's also my youngest daughter's birthday. So we got the first half of the day to get it done, then we're gonna book it back to the house, make it home for her birthday party. Well, we are posted up on the side of this mountain. It's pretty rough country, big rocks, and the bulls have shut up. There's two of them. Story of my year for elk has been listening to giant bulls bugle on the other side of the fence. Great bull for anywhere, and especially for Oklahoma.
Nice unicorn, Brandon. Looking good.
Thank you. On cook duty, you got a unicorn on. Kids are playing. Could be worse. Heading out, waiting for the rain to pass, and it's just now letting up. It's getting close, dude. There's elk everywhere in Oklahoma, in certain spots. Now, southwestern Oklahoma has the Wichita Mountains. Again, are really surprising on how large these mountains are.
A little more arid, rocky, blackjack, oak type timber.
When you're standing at the bottom and looking up at the top, you don't think that you're in Oklahoma.
My name is Cole Townsend. I'm the Regional Director for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation for Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Elk is a member of the deer species, and they typically live in habitats from alpine meadows to hardwoods to desert valleys.
The numbers aren't real high. Most of Oklahoma isn't what you call primo elk habitat.
On the eastern side of Oklahoma, you're going to witness more of a hardwood forest feel. And then where the core population of elk are in the state of Oklahoma is going to be the Wichita Mountain National Wildlife Refuge, which is more what you think of standard whenever you think of elk hunting.
What I would call as classic of elk hunting as you could find would be down in the Wichita Mountains National Wildlife Refuge area and those surrounding private lands within the counties around that refuge.
I would say that the elk in Oklahoma is the hardest big game species to harvest due to the fact that in order to be able to hunt elk in Oklahoma, you have to be on private land. Not only that, but then you're competing against other hunters with a quota system, unless you're in the special Southwest zone, which has no quota, but you're also then still trying to obtain landowner permission to be able to hunt elk in that zone.
We have elk season in every county. Regulations are different per county and by zone.
So in Oklahoma, you're at a bit of a disadvantage because the season doesn't open until the early part of October. So generally speaking, the rut is probably on the tail end or is already ended. So you're going to be more of a glassing, spotting and stalking, setting up on different corridors for these bulls to be passing through. You could potentially catch one on the post rut where he's still a little fired up and he is willing to come into a cow call, or he is still wanting to pick a fight with another bull.
It's definitely tough. If you're doing it with a bow, it's double tough, and double the reward, double the challenge though.
Well, it's day 3 here in southwestern Oklahoma. As you can tell, it's very windy. The rain has subsided for at least the morning, and in fact, we can kind of almost see some clear skies, but the wind's blowing 25 miles an hour, so that's definitely a little bit of a hindrance. One weather setback after another, but I think this morning, this is one of our best opportunities. Besides open in the morning, this is our best opportunity. We're walking in, got mostly across this field. Pretty sure we just heard a bugle. The wind is whipping. It's hard to hear because of the wind. It's hard to hear because we're moving. That's where they're going to want to, and that's where I'd want to lay down. He's bugling his butt off.
What do you think? Do you think you're wearing this way?
Maybe. You can go straight at him? Go basically right over those tops right there? I don't know what that one. Is there a predator out here? A predator? Like from the movie Predator?
Parked up on that rock option.
I hope not. Well, he's gonna take the biggest one, so you better be ducking. He could be tucked up against that. That's where he's at. I bet you he's either on that hillside or in that valley. We lost Bugle. He hadn't bugled in a while. Came down the very bottom, kind of get out of the wind. Get the call. He fired off a couple times, and we were about to close the distance. And he sounds a lot closer, so probably get up there. I'll probably set up right here with Josh. This is a good spot. Yeah, this is good. This is a good spot. We'll set up right here somewhere. Right here. It was something. I'll get over here in these rocks. You get on the other side of the rocks. Right there. There he is, there he is, there he is. Dave, stop. Call. Yes. Don't move. He's just walking up that hill. He's walking back and forth on that hill. He wants to come. Here he comes.
That's twice. He's down right there. He's down right there. Trevor Johnson. God. Trevor, thank you so much, sir. Dude. Oh my God. This is leg 2 of my Oklahoma Grand Slam, and that is my first ever archery elk, my first ever elk. And that was an unbelievable experience. That's a great bull anywhere in the country, especially in my home state, in Trevor's home state of Oklahoma. Holy cow. Look at this, man. This is a mountain. Come over here. Look at this, Josh. That's a mountain, and that's a mountain. We're on the north end of the Wichita Mountains, and they're mountains. Golly. We got a heck of a pack out ahead of us. We got a heck of a pack out. We've been walking all morning in terrain just like that. We were on that top of that mountain earlier, walked the entire side of it. I mean, we've done some serious, I see him, mountaineering today. But I believe there's a dead bull 30 yards from us right now. Look at the size of this animal. Oh my gosh, look at the size of this, Trevor. Oh. Trevor. I can't thank you enough, dude. We're in front of or behind an absolute gorgeous, a stud of an Oklahoma elk. Grateful beyond belief for you two, for being the liaison, not only for hanging with me, but the liaison for the landowner.
First bull in your home state.
My first ever elk, period, with a Matthews in my home state. I'm 2 hours from my house. Yeah. I am 2 hours from my house right now.
Think of the hours you've driven to the western states.
I am 2 hours from my house. We can almost see downtown Oklahoma City from here. Golly, gosh, this is crazy.
Hell of a bull.
It's a hell of a bull.
That'll be a hell of a pack.
It's gonna be a hell. Yeah, we killed him in a heck of a spot, didn't we?
Yeah, we're up here.
Yeah. That's all right.
Got time.
Think of the story, guys.
Oh yeah.
Think of the story. That's why I've been thanking y'all so much and being very appreciative. Being appreciative, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all didn't let him go down any further. That would have tarnished the story.
Yeah.
We got 6 inches of rain. The wind was terrible. So I think that Brandon is a terrible meteorologist. It's supposed to be clear, and it does not look clear at all. But Brandon, being perpetually optimistic, he's always, ready to go and eager, and he kept us going and pushing through whenever sometimes that I thought we might not should be able to go.
When you think of elk hunting, that's what you think of. And for the arrow to find its mark, and then for that animal to give me a follow-up shot, I couldn't have been more grateful. And thank you so much to Trevor and Josh for tagging along.
As that bull was standing 10 yards from Brandon, looking right at me, peeking behind the cow elk, I knew that Brandon was drawn back on this bull and that he was a few steps away from being down, and it just a weight lifted off my shoulders that, this was gonna happen and this was about to be done. It just all came together and it was perfect.
And now we got this elk down. He's on top of a mountain. I gotta do my first pack out. Now, I got it quartered up, got all 4 quarters out. We still got the head and the tenderloin back strap on. We're gonna make one trip down with all quarters, all 4 of us. Luckily, we have 4 of us, so. The head and the back straps and tenderloins up on top of the mountain, attached to the bull. But we got rain coming in.
Yeah, and then bring the bag up to him.
y'all just walk down the hill like this? Is that not too bad? It might be more than 8 pounds.
Yeah, dude, pretty much nice for you.
Yeah, this is more than 8 pounds. This is a lot of weight.
You having fun, Brandon?
Yeah. Probably doing worse things right now. That, sir, it's a lot of meat.
The pronghorn antelope, known to many as the fastest mammal in North America, is its own species. It's the only one of its kind found in North America. Occupies the arid, wide open spaces of the West.
Extremely open. When people think of Oklahoma, that's traditionally what they think of. They think of open terrain. They think of huge fields as far as you can see.
Pretty flat to slightly rolling in places, short grass, tight soil, dominated by buffalo grass. As you move west into the Panhandle, we've got antelope in only 2 counties for the most part. They are found in other counties, but Cimarron County and the western half of Texas, which is really their prime habitat. But they're a plains animal. They don't like fences, they don't like trees. They use their eyesight more than they use their nose. They are fast. And one of the challenges in hunting pronghorn is not to be seen. They can spot you at a mile away and have you located before you locate them. For most folks, they hunt them with rifles. It's 300 to 400 yard shots, sometimes farther than that. Spot and stalk works for rifle, but you got to get right in their back door, and that can be double tough with bow and arrow. It's really tough because there's not much concealment, but it is really fun and very rewarding. You tag an antelope, I think we killed 28 with archery equipment last year, so not very many. So to tag one with bow and arrow is quite an accomplishment.
All right, I'm Zac Albin. I'm originally from North Texas, around Burke Burnett, Wichita Falls area. Grew up hunting with my dad and family and friends. Always big whitetail hunter, you know, varmints and pigs here and there, but mainly whitetail. Now I live in Cimarron County in a town called Boise City. I live with my wife, Chanley, and my daughter, Sage. Mornings I start out, you know, check wells in the morning. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to check wells and sprinklers, make sure everything's running. Everything's running smooth, you know, we kind of piddle around, do what we got to do, stuff we've been putting off or need to get done during the day, and then we check wells again in the evening, another hour and a half, 2 hours checking wells and sprinklers. And springtime we're planting, fall time we're harvesting. Winter time we kind of get to take a break, but nothing's ever the same. Even during the summer, never doing the same thing over and over. My wife stays at home with my daughter Sage. They, you know, play around all day. She's teaching her. She's a little over a year old now, so she's running, gunning, playing, and you know, learning everything right now. So it's pretty busy full time. Oh man, watching her grow up has been something different. I didn't know I had that much love in my heart, you know, to be sentimental about it. But just watching her grow and, you know, start to talk and start to hug and start to give you kisses and all the little fun things that little girls do. It's been life changing. I know it's cliche. Just, you know, all the cliche sayings are 100% spot on because they're something else. It's pretty fun to watch.
Now it's time to load up and head to the very tip of the Panhandle to meet up with Zac Albin and chase speed goats. At this point, we have about a week left in the antelope season, so hopefully we get there and there's still some goats running around. Well, it's first morning here in antelope country. First property we came to look at. There's a nice buck. Well, stalk number 1 was successful. I was not successful. I think we got a chance on him later in the hunt. Hey, is this like an antelope? Yeah, looks good, huh? I seen him, he disappeared at 150 yards, and then he popped up at 50 yards. I am not too optimistic about this. That didn't work. We tried. It's just too open, and there's too many eyes. It's not gonna be, I don't think it's gonna work going after a big group like that with this decoy. Only way we're gonna get a shot of one of those is to get in front of one. We are driving around, as you can tell from outside. It is very foggy. It is mist and rain. We can't see an antelope anywhere. I'm gonna try, I hope I get close enough to miss. I shouldn't miss. I did yesterday. And there's a buck, it looks like it's a satellite buck trying to get in the group. The big one keeps running off. Maybe that satellite, see this decoy, make its way over here. It's a lot of open country. A lot of open countries, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I see the fence line, yeah.
And look down, there's a little green patch. We go right at the green patch. Go right at the green patch.
Oh, I see him. We just walked 7,000 miles across this field to no avail. We was meeting back up with Mr. Raymond and Zach, and they have a buck bedded 300 yards from them. We have 45 minutes until shooting light's over, so I'm just gonna crawl and see what happens. He is in a very good spot to not die, but won't know until we try. We don't have that much time, so we better get going. We'll leave Josh here. He's gonna film from the truck with these guys. Let's go. Man, I had to crawl across grass like this for 150 yards. My first pronghorn antelope and my first Oklahoma antelope, and this is a dandy. This guy right here is seems to me like an old smart dude. Look at this. Look at this. And when I shot, the first arrow flew high, and he ran out there quite a bit, and I ranged him again, and I ranged him at 85, and I drew the old tri-axe back and let it fly, and holy cow, am I proud, am I grateful for the opportunities that I get, and this is a stud, an absolute stud. Holy cow. Dude, beautiful. Thank y'all so much.
First one, he's nice.
Yeah, heck yeah. Leg 3. Dude, I got the 3 hard ones done. Yeah. Holy cow. The 3 hardest ones done in 11 days. Obviously I dreamed of it, but I wouldn't have guessed it. I wouldn't have bet on it. Oh my goodness. Man. This is what I was in.
Yeah.
And
I'd give you a lot of credit because that's a lot of covering.
And for that to happen, and for him to walk to us, and then I missed, and then he stood there again at 85. That's a lot of luck, man. You could see it on my face that getting this pronghorn on the ground, I realized that I had just got the 3 hardest ones done in a short order, in a very lucky, very fortunate order.
I'm just relieved and excited. I mean, being a part of something that nobody's done before and knowing you helped out, knowing you got them through possibly the hardest bow hunt.
But I realized that the goal of getting all 5 of these in one season is obtainable. Before the season started, I didn't know if it was obtainable or not. I truly didn't. I don't know. I had a good feeling coming up about the mule deer and the whitetail, because mule deer in Oklahoma, I've been fortunate to kill. I've killed 3 or 4 mule deer in the state of Oklahoma, all with a rifle or muzzleloader. At this point, I have over 3 months to get the whitetail and the mule deer down on the ground in order to complete the slam in 1 year.
As you move on out west, those whitetails are very adaptable. The mule deer's not quite as adaptable, and they're a little more selective in their habitat. Hunters do best when they're targeting rocky outbreaks, rough topography, caliche, jippy hills, and canyon type country. They really like broken up country. Most people think of Oklahoma and whitetails, but we do have mule deer. Again, western Oklahoma, most of them are in the panhandle, not a lot of them. We've managed those through stricter regulations. We don't allow harvest of does during gun season, for example. Believe it or not, we only kill about 195 to 200 a year, and that's total. Most of those are rifle. So the folks that have actually killed a mule deer with archery equipment are, you can see in the numbers, killing less than 200 total, are very few and far between.
Dang good buck. I am trying to get a mule deer in this great state. I'm having a hard time seeing. I cannot see it through my spotting scope for some reason. November the 1st, and we are about to attempt our first hunt for mule deer here in northeast Oklahoma. I mean, you can see the world up here, so I'm excited. Leg 4 of the Oklahoma Grand Slams right now. I'm trying to get a big old Oklahoma muley, so y'all stay tuned, we'll see. Trigger, he went way high. I don't know what happened there. I hate missing. Just got back to the house and we are good. It's not the bow. Whatever happened up here or happened right here. We had an absolutely unbelievable night tonight. He got to, I don't know, 80, 90 yards and was facing straight at me. And he looked up and I could tell that, he was looking at another deer. He started bowing up and started sidestepping. I looked to my right, there was a bigger buck coming in from the right. And I was about to draw back and he turned and started walking away. And I looked over and I really seen how big the other one that was walking away was. Everything that could go wrong today has gone wrong. We are about to head in for our 4th day, our 4th evening here. And I'm excited. We got a win to go on where we've been wanting to go. We've hunted twice where we're going. We've had 2 great encounters. One was just after dark, and then the other one we had 2 giants within range right at last light. But kind of a freak thing happened, and one of the giants pushed the other one off. I mean, it was just. Wish I can go back to that moment right now. Hopefully. I don't know, have a big one in front of us tonight. I got to put my ghillie suit on when I get there, but I don't know, we'll see. It's running late. We're kind of running late. We've been running around trying to get stuff done, so. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I was texting Brad. He shot a big buck down the river bottom. I was texting him, telling him what to do as far as the truck and dragging him out. And I looked up 20 yards. I had no idea, obviously. Did you see me? When I seen him, I just moved my head. He caught movement. That's a big mule deer, buddy. And I can't believe that I just got the mule deer down for the Oklahoma Grand Slam. I cannot believe it. This is an absolute stud of an Oklahoma mule deer. Oh my God. I cannot believe this. This is a brute of a body. This is a brute of an animal. And I cannot be more proud on this day to shoot my first Oklahoma mule deer with a bow, and by far my biggest and most mature Oklahoma mule deer. Holy cow. We are running around like crazy. We got 2 dead deer. Got a big old Oklahoma whitetail, and then we got a big old Oklahoma mule deer up in the hills right now. So Mr. Brad, on his first evening out, shot this big boy, and then we're gonna head up yonder. We're gonna make a big loop to get around to get the mule deer. So that's what we're doing. Well, it is the next morning up here in Northwest Oklahoma. It is the 4th animal of my Oklahoma Grand Slam. All I have left is the whitetail. Man, we gotta get this deer taken care of, get him back home, and go start a whitetail hunt pretty soon. But golly, absolute giant.
I knew the area that he was going to be mule deer hunting pretty well because it's one of our Major League Bow Hunter leases. However, we had no idea really the quality and numbers of mule deer till BA was giving me reports back and forth with all that.
It's November the 4th, and I've gotten the 4 hardest animals on the ground with my bow.
So when BA let me know he got the mule deer on the ground, I was thinking, all right, we're pretty much there.
But now I have one more to get done to finish this goal that I'd set for myself, and that's the whitetail.
My name is Matt Ross. My title is Assistant Director of Conservation, and I work for the Quality Deer Management Association. A white-tailed deer is really an amazing animal. In terms of their range, they're actually the most widely ranging ungulate or deer species in the world. You can find deer from Canada all the way down to South America. So the history of the white-tailed deer is very interesting as well. It's very human-centric.
At the turn of the century, we had less than 500 deer left in the state.
European settlement occurred. We cleared the land, reduced forest, increased agriculture, and there was really no game laws in place at that point. That's when game laws started to come about. You saw a lot of state agencies being formed, and in 1909, Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation was created. Actually, at that time, it was called Oklahoma Fish and Game. So with that, you start seeing this protection phase where deer were protected. And then it started to see an increase in the population, but really what amped up that recovery effort was when we started restocking. In Oklahoma, they saw a pretty strong restocking program between 1942 and 1972, where the state introduced about 9,000 animals back into the state. Most of those actually came from within the state.
Push that forward to 2017, 18, 19, we're harvesting over 100,000 deer, with an estimated 450 to 550,000 deer in the state. A great conservation success story.
It was really interesting in Oklahoma. They introduced a slogan around 2000 that was called "Hunters in the Know Shoot a Doe," and that really started to educate the public. We started doing a very good job of balancing the deer herd and bring doe numbers down and bringing buck numbers up, and that slogan changed around 2013 to "Hunters in the Know, Let Young Bucks Grow."
Hunters now are changing their philosophy. It's about half and half. 50% of the people still are out there to get a deer, but about half of the folks now, according to our surveys, are really interested in more quality deer, age.
And today, hunting in Oklahoma is one of the best places in the country. The program there has strong accolades, and they're doing a great job.
You're living in the best of times as a deer hunter, so get out there and enjoy it, and pick up your bow, because that's where all the fun starts.
This beginning of November, I have 2.5 months to get it done. And I mean, not to sound too confident, but you know, I'm thinking I can get it done. It is getting toward the end of November, and I have not hunted since I was fortunate enough to get my mule deer. But today I am back and down in southeastern Oklahoma, Latimer County, doing some scouting, doing some hanging. He busted his 3, 4, and his drop tine on his right side. That 7-point came in, I mean, I got my bow, I said big buck. I mean, I thought it was a big buck. Really nice buck, but he's, you know, he's a 2.5-year-old, you know, and it's probably hard to tell, but it is very windy tonight. And, but the good thing is it's blowing out the right direction. Yeah, that is awesome.
I could have killed him all day long. I had to stop because I was running out of arrows.
That's such an Adams thing to do. He just kept shooting until he ran out of arrows. Hey, well, he's got a trailer full of bacon. There's a deer right there. A really pretty 2-year-old just walked by us. Right here in our lap at about 5 yards. We're hoping that this temperature gets them up on their feet. This whitetail hunt turned into a tough hunt. You know, sometimes it's just luck of the draw, so I should have known better than to take it for granted. No sense in banging your head on the wall when things aren't right. You're just gonna make things worse for whenever things get good, so. That's 3 days now where we have not seen a deer. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it in. It's not that the conditions aren't right. The weather is absolutely phenomenal. We are just after the rut, and these bucks, these mature bucks, are holed up right now. Well, it is December the 30th, but today we're trying to round off the Oklahoma Grand Slam, the whitetail. Wow, it is New Year's Eve. We find ourselves in a tree stand in northwest Oklahoma. It is windy. I think that deer's 1 year too young, but he's big. He's a big ape. Well, we just had a great encounter with really the number one buck I wanted to see. We are in the right area. Tomorrow we have the same wind, except for it's going to be much colder. And the wind's not going to be blowing as hard. We got a perfect wind. We're trying to catch a deer coming from this thick stuff over my shoulder in the Cimarron River bottom. Hopefully moving through these cottonwoods, particularly down this road or down these trails that are filtered by this tree, going to our wheat, which is probably 500 yards away from us. So the general movement is going to be from here to there, or from here to here. So, got a perfect wind blowing back in our face. I'm excited. It is January the 1st. It is New Year's Day. So, hopefully 2019 brings a close to the Oklahoma Grand Slam for the 18-19 season. And I can end it with a big whitetail on the ground. So I'm gonna get turned around here. I feel very confident we're gonna see a mature buck tonight, and hopefully we can get a shot on it. So cross your fingers. That's a good sign. It's just after 2. We had 3 does walk by us. It's a very good sign. We got 4 hours until dark. Hopefully the big boys get on their feet soon and walk by us. There's a deer right there. It's a little buck. Right, there's a wavy tents with them. They're coming. Stay on as long as you can. Stay on as long as you can. He just dropped it. Oh my God. That was an unbelievable experience. That's an unbelievable buck. And I just finished off the year of my life here in Oklahoma. This is by far the coldest I've ever arrowed a whitetail or any animal. It's in the teens. It is freezing right now. And that buck was spooky. This is a moment that I've been waiting for all year. This is leg 5 of the Oklahoma Grand Slam. It is January 1st, 2019, and we brought the new year in with a bang. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you want to see. An absolutely coated with frozen blood arrow. The reason why it's frozen is because it's probably in the low teens right now, if not colder. I can't believe at the Grand Slam, I did it one year, buddy, with a bow. I didn't start out the year trying to do it all with a bow. But when I got the first 4 with a bow, it was pretty evident that's what I was going to be trying to do, was to finish off with the whitetail with the bow. And I laid low for a long time. The whole month of November, essentially, hunted a few times in December, and I made a conscientious effort or decision that before ATA, which is in 10 days, I was going to hit it hard. So I was going to have about 12 days to hit it and hit the weather perfect. That's the biggest thing this time of year is weather. You got to have big bucks and you got to have good weather. And luckily, we had both this week. Just an absolute bruiser. It's a great, great buck. Got a big hole in his horn here, split brow, kicker off his tube, crab claws on both sides. Call him the wavy 10 because both of his main beams have little waves in them. Wow. When this whitetail hit the ground, I don't know what to say. It was a lot of work to get to this moment.
As soon as he called and told us that he had his whitetail on the ground and the slam was done, I was so proud. Sorry, I'm gonna cry.
You know, I've been asked which one was my favorite, you know, which one means the most. And without a doubt, they're all 100% equal. And they're all special in their own way.
I hear a lot of talk of the big game Grand Slam. I myself, and in talking to some of my colleagues, have never talked to anyone, met anyone, or documented anyone accomplishing that, much less with archery equipment.
I was absolutely amazed that the state had such a diversity of animals: elk, antelope, mule deer, whitetail, and bear.
I mean, really is a testament to what type of hunter he is, and bow hunting sets the bar totally in a different category.
I'm a bow hunter, and it's hard enough for me to harvest one of those big game species a year.
The black bear, because yeah, I killed in the first 20 minutes of opening day, but there was so many trips 7, 8 trips that led up to that moment.
Pretty incredible feat when you really think about it.
Just putting those hunts together is a task within itself.
It seems easy to kill those animals individually, but to do it in a single year is really a feat. And I can tell you, it's easy to not kill a bear in Oklahoma as hard as you may try on any given year.
Once you put it together, to get out there and accomplish that in 1 year is phenomenal.
An elk screaming in your face, that meant the world to me, to have that opportunity on some unbelievable ground, and I mean ground that was as good as anywhere that I've ever been.
To be able to get them within, an ethical bow range shot is just a testament to what type of archery hunter Brandon's become throughout the years.
To take any of those animals, one of them in a given year, is an accomplishment with archery equipment.
It's kind of hard to believe that you can actually do it in the same year, but we was really proud of him.
When it came to getting out of a truck and then trying to get one of these animals on the ground, the pronghorn was the hardest.
I thought it was a really cool idea that he had, and I was really happy when he was able to follow through and get all 5.
I have been on quite a few mule deer hunts, and even in Oklahoma, and that mule deer hunt was the best mule deer hunt that I've ever experienced in any state, bar none.
Even though whitetails are everywhere, if you really try to challenge yourself and limit yourself to what you can shoot or want to shoot, it can become quite challenging based on an internal pressure of achieving something that is satisfactory.
Just super proud, just super excited for him and his family to be able to share.
And I wanted a whitetail in the state of Oklahoma in the 18-19 season, worse than I've ever wanted a deer in my entire life.
He set his mind to something, had a goal in mind, and he accomplished his goal, which just shows how hard of a worker he is. And when he sets his mind to something, he gets it done.
But it was an emotional experience of wanting something so bad and then working so hard for it and then achieving it.
So to tag them all in one season, put that hunt together, make all those connections, and make it happen with an arrow is phenomenal. So this is really the first one I've heard of, so congrats on that.
I want to say I was surprised, but not really. When I talk to BA and he tells me he's going to do something, I'm just waiting for the text or the phone call and say, okay, check that off the list.
One of the biggest things that I take away from this year, 100%, is the friendships. I made true friends along the way. And everyone that filmed me along the way, this was not a huge production. There was not a huge production crew. A lot of instances I got, people that was free to come film me. The person that filmed my whitetail hunt at the very end to anchor this whole thing was Zac Albin, my pronghorn guy, who has became a true friend. Thank you guys for sticking with me, and thank you so much to my wife, Brianne, and my 2 little girls, Addison and Brooke. I've been asked, when I'm going to try it again, and I'll be honest with you, this was tough. I don't think that this is going to be on my horizon, on my docket anytime soon. This is going to be probably a once-in-a-lifetime endeavor, and if I even attempt it again, I cannot possibly imagine I'll be half as successful. Thank you guys.